Hi and welcome to Spokal's ActiveCampaign integration video. In this video I'll show you how to connect ActiveCampaign to Spokal and what you can expect from the integration. So let's get started. To connect the account, simply go to your Connect Accounts page and connect your ActiveCampaign. You need to input your API URL and API key. You can find those both in your ActiveCampaign account under Integration. And then on the right hand side here, if you click on ActiveCampaign API and go to the API tab if it doesn't go there automatically, and there's your API URL and your API key. Just copy those over to here and then click the connect button, and then a list of all your ActiveCampaign lists will show up here. We've only got the one called test, so we'll do that. And if you have a form attached to that list, they'll show up in this drop down. We do recommend that you attach a form, because if you don't, then everything will be single opt-in, which means anyone can enter any email address into there, and you'll end up getting dinged for spam, and eventually you may end up having your ActiveCampaign account suspended. So we do recommend using a form here. You can set up a form in ActiveCampaign under integrations and then subscription forms. You can click here and click create a new form. And then the other thing you really need to do in the form, so here we assign it to a list, give it a name. There's a number of options in here for setting up a form. You don't need to do most of them because Spokal handles most of it for you. So for example, you don't need to worry about building your subscription form. All you really need to do is change the opt-in confirmation email. So this is the email that'll get sent out when they subscribe. So you want to change this to say, you know, whatever it is you want to say when they join your list. Click save, and that's all you need to do. Okay, so if I refresh that page, that new form will show up. There it is. So we'll choose form for test and then click connect with list default. So that's connecting to our default Spokal list here. And now that it's done, see that's connected there. So now we're good to go. So now if I go to my website, I've already put the Spokal lead generator widget on the site. So this is connected to the default Spokal list. So now I'm just going to enter my email address into here and click submit. You can also use this form here, which you can drag and drop into the content that you create. We integrate with Gravity Forms and Contact Form 7, and we're always adding new integrations as well. So check back for any other plugins that we might integrate with by the time you see this. Now that we've submitted that, if I go to contacts, you'll see here I've just been added. You can see that I belong to an ActiveCampaign list and that I'm pending. That's because the email's been sent out, that form email that we just set up, and I haven't clicked on it yet, obviously, so I'm not fully subscribed. However, you can see here are all the visits that I've made to your website, and if I open them up, I can see what pages I've visited, how long I spent on them, how many times I've been back. Here we pull back data from full contact, so some leads will have a ton of data here, some will have very little, some will have none. But in this case it came back with my name, picture, it tells me that I live in Vancouver, which is correct. It's brought back a few social media profiles. It's picking up an old Twitter account, so you know these details aren't correct, but it is picking up the right LinkedIn account, the right AngelList profile. And that's pretty much it. If I now go in and click on that email, which I'll do right now, over here, you can't see me because I'm working off the other screen. Okay, so now that I've clicked subscribe on that email, you can see that that first event has showed up here under ActiveCampaign activity. So you can see that I subscribed and the date and the time that I subscribed to. And we'll come back a little later after I've sent a few campaigns and opened and clicked on a few, and the lead scoring is starting to work, so that you can see what that looks like. Also note, once we've set this up, what we've done is we've actually enabled your event JavaScript tracking in ActiveCampaign. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. And we've also whitelisted your domain, and we've also added a new custom field to your list called Spokal Score. So if you don't know what any of those things are, that's fine. Don't worry about it, they happen in the background, but what they let you do is use ActiveCampaign's more advanced segmentation and marketing automation rules automatically. Normally you have to go in there and find the JavaScript and figure out how to put it on your site, and we've taken care of all that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we've come back a little bit later, and I've sent a couple campaigns and clicked on them and opened them, and you can see here the results. So we've still got the subscribed event here, and then you can see that this campaign called Test Open was clicked on, and you can even see the link that they went to, and that this campaign called Test New Campaign was open and the time of the day. You still got all their visits here on the right hand side, and now you can see that their overall lead score has been set as well. So they've got a 1.8 out of 5 on the email, a 3.5 out of 5 on the web score, for a total score of 5.3. Then you can see that that's actually been pushed out to ActiveCampaign as well. So now they've got, here's the same guy, it's me, and you'll see on the right hand side here, here's a Spokal score of 5.3, and as that updates in Spokal, we'll push that out and update that here in ActiveCampaign too. So you can use that to segment lists, you can use that as part of your email automation rules when you want to send emails out to a list. You can use that in any way you want. Okay, so when sending campaigns in ActiveCampaign, there's a couple minor little gotchas just to be aware of. So if I create a new campaign, okay, so if you want to have link tracking enabled, so if you want to make sure that they get scored based on having on them clicking a link, you need to make sure this is ticked. Also, the replies is ticked if you want to score them based on that. We'll get notifications of that and be able to score them on that, but only if you enable these. So that's just something to be aware of. And finally, this will work with your existing lists. So if we come into here, for example, I'm going to import. Although if you already have an existing list, you don't even need to do that. There we go. So I'm just going to add a couple extra me's. Okay, so now I've got the one guy who came in through Spokal directly, and these two that are either I've just imported or might be part of your existing current list. So in order to get them tracked within Spokal and get all the benefits that you're getting with everybody else on this list, just requires a slight change in how you create future campaigns. And you don't need to do this forever, but it's only going to work for the people who click through to your site. So let me demonstrate. Test imported contacts. I'm going to send a regular campaign. Okay, so I'd have whatever content I'd normally have in my email, and here's a link. That's basically, you know, check out my latest blog post. So I'm going to link that to my site. Okay. Now I'm going to, oops, not that. Insert email address here. I'm going to go to the code editor, just because I don't know the best way to do this otherwise. And there we go. Okay, so what I've done there, let's just go back and I'll show you, is I've added a query string variable called AC email equal to their email address. So now I'm going to send that. And now what I'm going to do is in the email that I've gotten for one of the additional contacts that I've just imported, the Chris plus 2 or the Chris plus 3, is I'm going to click through on that. So I'm just doing that now. So this is the Chris plus 3 I've got open in the other window here, and I'm clicking through. Okay, so I can see now that my Chris plus 3 is showing up in my contact list. It belongs to ActiveCampaign and that he's subscribed. So So I'm going to click open on this and I can see all his web activity. So this will pick up his web activity from even before he's clicked through onto this, basically for as long as you've had the Spokal plugin installed on your website. So it doesn't matter if they've clicked through a month later, 2 months later, a year later, as long as you've had the Spokal plugin running, it will pick up older visits as well. There's no full contact detail for this because it's a made up email address, and there's no ActiveCampaign activity because we'll start tracking that after they've signed up or after they've been registered with Spokal the first time. So now that we've got the contact in Spokal, the lead score will start getting pushed out to ActiveCampaign. So you'll want to do this for your first or your next few campaigns if you want to get your existing list into Spokal, and then after that, you can keep doing it to try to get that segment of your list that hasn't clicked through yet over, or you can specifically target them simply by targeting anyone who doesn't have a Spokal score, and see how many of them you can get to convert that way.